What's up, guys? It's Ian from Equity Warehouse, and my co-host next to me, we got Jason from Hard Money Bankers, and we are going to do one of our favorite special episodes inside the show, where we bring in someone and talk about the deal that changed their lives. You guys probably heard Jim on one of our other episodes, where he taught us, or I learned anyway, that St. Louis is really close to Illinois. I never really recognized that until I went back and reviewed that. So we're going to bring Jim in and talk about the one deal that has changed his life. Jim, come on in.
Oh, well, that's great. I just spent some time with you and you learned geography. Oh, yeah, that was my goal.
Yeah, well, if I can't figure out the money thing, at least I can get around the country. So, but with that being said, Jim, just real quick, if you just want to reintroduce yourself for those that did not hear the other episode of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jim Manning, and I have a new podcast called The Passive Wealth Show. But before that, I founded 5 real estate companies, 4 of which run without me now. I've done over 3,500 deals, and happy to be here and happy to share one of the pivotal deals of my career. Hopefully I said pivotal right.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Don't worry. They want to hear the juicy details. They're not worried about your grammar. So we're going to turn it over to you. And if you just want to tell us about the one deal that has changed your life or your trajectory in your company.
Absolutely. So we were flipping before this deal, and we were doing, at one point we owned 120 homes. We were doing hundreds of flips a year. And I had a friend in a mastermind keep telling me about this lease purchase strategy. He's like, you make more money, it's less risk, and you make a lot more cash flow over time. And it took him about a year to talk us into doing a deal with him. And one of the first deals that we did was a grand slam. And you think of lease purchase deals or rent to own. Some people call them rent to owns. There's nuances and differences there, but this was a higher price point home, and specifically it's about $775,000 property, and a doctor lives in it. And so back in July, a couple years ago, it might have been 2020, I forget the year, before he moved in, we ran into this doctor, and he was in a divorce situation, and he thought he could only rent. And we cross paths with him. We say, well, no, why don't you just do a lease purchase deal with us, and you can be a homeowner, and you don't have to have your wife sign a marital waiver. In Missouri, you have to sign a marital waiver if you're married to not have an ownership stake in a property. I know other states aren't like that, but you do in Missouri. And he was trying to move in with his girlfriend. So yeah, that would be a hard sell. I don't know how good of a salesman the doctor is, but yeah, hey, honey, will you sign a marital waiver so I can buy a property with my new girlfriend? Yeah, not gonna happen, right? So anyway, we cross paths, and he falls in love with the house, and before he moves in, he gives us $33,000. Okay, so I'm looking at him like, whoa, we do a lot of flips where we're happy to make 33 grand. Now, here's the cool thing about the lease purchase strategy is the $33,000, because it's a down payment. We don't owe taxes on that money until the person moves out or buys us out of the deal and executes on that lease purchase. So on day one, our risk profile goes down because of all that money, right? And so then we're cash flowing it. And because it was in the 2020s when we started this deal, or the early 2020s, we had a very low interest rate. And so 3 years go by, and he calls us up and says, hey, I'm ready to buy you guys out of the deal. I'm through the divorce. I don't have to worry about that marital waiver thing anymore. And we say, great, fantastic. You can buy us out. But what's the interest rate that they're quoting you on? Like the lender, oh, it's in the 7s. And we said, well, would you want a better interest rate and just keep us in this deal? And then he said, well, yeah, what do you think? And we start negotiating with them, and we say, hey, I tell you what, you can even buy down the rate more. We'll give you a mid-6s interest rate, save you a lot of money over time if you give us an additional $75,000 down payment. So he looked at it, he had the cash. And so he wrote us a check, and now we have over $100,000 from him. Our loans in the mid 4s. And, it's a $775,000 house. We only owe about $450 on it. And so and because we kept them in the deal, we're cash flowing at about $2,500 a month. So when you look at that low of a risk profile, he's got that much skin in the game. And he's getting a win too, because he's getting a better deal on the interest rate. We fell in love with the strategy, and we fell in love with it so much, we actually have pivoted, and we do very little flips anymore. We do these lease purchase deals with a bunch of partners. We have over 62 partners in our real estate fund that we're just buying and holding on to the lease purchase deals and cash flowing them together, getting passive income. So yeah, what questions do you guys have on for me on this one? That's the nutshell.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely awesome. Where did you find this deal? How did you generate that lead? Was it on market, off market? And what did you guys acquire it at? Did you acquire it at par because they were over leveraged? What did the acquisition on the property look like?
So it was off market marketing. I don't remember if it was a bandit sign or a direct mail. We've done, I mean, if you just Google motivated sellers, like we've done all of them, and they all work if you execute on it well. So we got across with them, and this is an important wrinkle that I forgot that I need to tell you about on the deal too. So we negotiated the deal and we bought it as a vacation rental. Okay. And so we put it up as a vacation rental. And so we've owned the property for a couple of years before we transitioned it into the lease purchase. And because our core business model isn't vacation rentals, we had to hire out the property management. And we were like the leader on, like, if you did a search, like we were making the most amount of money grossing the most amount of money in our area for properties. But by the time we paid the property manager and all the expenses and the property maintenance, we weren't netting a crazy amount. So then we decided to play around and just transition it into the lease purchase deal. And we're not grossing over $10,000 a month on it, and we don't have to, because the tenant's also paying for all the repairs and maintenance on the property, right? So we're netting and we're holding on to quite a bit more than what we were on this property on a vacation rental.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. That's definitely awesome. And then, so your plan is to hold it as long as, so I presume that you put a 30-year mortgage back in place for this guy, and you guys will cash flow for as long as it sees fit. And my guess is he's not going to refi unless these rates drop below sub 6, right?
Yeah, and then we can lower it again. We can renegotiate the deal to stay in it for the cash flow. Because he has so much money down, like our drawback on the lease purchase deal is the long-term appreciation on this one. So he can, over the course of 30 years, just like a normal mortgage, he can pay down. He can completely pay it down to where he owns it outright as well. That's how we structured this deal. And we're okay with that because we're making $2,500 a month, and quite frankly, it's a 80-year-old home. I think the repairs and maintenance are likely going to be more than what the property is going to appreciate over time. I mean, I've looked at stats. I'd be curious what you guys think, but the stats that I've researched, and just from looking at our own portfolio, around 20% of operating expenses can go into repairs and maintenance in a portfolio. I don't know what you guys have experienced, but that's a whole lot of appreciation to keep up with that. So, we structured it as a win-win, and yeah, $2,500.
It's like a great, it's like a great triple net lease, man. That's right. Awesome. You have no headaches, and that's the best way to do them. So, guys, if you want to find out more about what Jim's doing, you can go check him out at jimmanning.com. I encourage you to go follow and see what he's doing. Because it is a great strategy. We've had a few other guys on here that have talked about this, and I haven't personally done it per se, but it definitely, every time I hear it, makes more sense in something that we should be looking at and putting into our book of business. So, Jim, thanks for sharing that deal, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
See you guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Reserve podcast. Do us a favor and like, comment, and share our broadcast. It helps the algorithm and helps us spread the word too. Till next time, thank you for tuning in.